there's a record nobody wanted to break. In 2025, Keir Starmer became the most unpopular prime minister in 45 years of British polling. Not Liz Truss, the woman who crashed the economy in 49 days. Not Boris Johnson. Starmer, the man who won the biggest Labour landslide in a generation. And today, he's resigned. So what went so catastrophically wrong in under 2 years? Well, it all began. In July 2024, Labour ended 14 years of Conservative rule in a landslide. But here's the detail. Almost nobody mentioned that night. Starmer won with the smallest share of the actual vote of any majority government in nearly 2 centuries of British record-keeping. He had the seats. He never really had the country. By early 2026, Ipsos rated him the most unpopular prime minister it had measured since it started polling, back in 1977. Worse by some measures than Liz Truss, the prime minister who famously lasted 49 days. But here's where it gets complicated. None of this was just bad luck. 3 things did most of the damage, and they pulled from opposite directions. From the right, immigration. Starmer promised control. The numbers didn't fall, and Nigel Farage's Reform UK turned that frustration into the most popular party in national polling. From the left, welfare cuts and the war in Gaza convinced many Labour voters their own party had abandoned them. Some defected straight to the Greens. And then a scandal that wrote itself. Starmer's own pick for ambassador to Washington, Peter Mandelson, turned out to have deep ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Starmer fired him and admitted in his own words that he regretted the call. To be fair to him, he inherited a slow-growth economy more than a decade in the making. From his side, he was repairing a foundation, not cracking one. If any of that sounds familiar, it's because almost every Western democracy is fighting some version of the same fire right now. Here's a simple way to picture how this actually works. A British prime minister isn't like a US president locked into a fixed term. He's closer to a football manager, hired by the board, and removed by that same board the moment results get bad enough. Starmer's results turned on June 18th. Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, won a special election back into Parliament with 54.8% of the vote. A landslide that made him the obvious next manager. Within days, the more than 90 Labour MPs already demanding an exit timetable got their answer, and ministers resigned in a separate fight over defense spending. The fact-checkers at Full Fact had already flagged the warning sign. One major pollster had Starmer's approval sitting at the exact same rock-bottom score once recorded by Theresa May right before her own downfall. This morning, Starmer accepted the verdict in 8 words. I accept that answer with good grace. That's the trigger. It isn't the real cause. The real cause is structural. A leader can win a landslide of seats on a landslide of disappointment. And that mismatch is fragile by design. It only takes 1 or 2 bad years to expose it. And 2026 wasn't a quiet year. Add the same anti-incumbent anger that's toppled governments from France to South Korea, plus a defense spending fight tangled up with the war in Ukraine and this year's Iran war, and Starmer had no shock absorbers left. Here's the detail that should genuinely surprise you. Before Starmer said a single word, Donald Trump posted that Keir Starmer will resign as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, a sitting American president, predicting in public the fall of an allied head of government. He turned out to be right. That one post tells you how thin the line between one country's politics and the rest of the world has become. So what now? Labour's leadership contest opens for nominations on July 9th. Starmer stays on as caretaker. A new leader is expected before Parliament returns in September, and Andy Burnham starts that race as the clear frontrunner. But whoever wins inherits the exact same problem. A voting system that can hand someone total power on a fraction of real support. Fix that mismatch, and you fix British stability. Ignore it, and Britain gets its 7th prime minister in a decade, then probably an 8th,